Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most people are very concerned about preparing their home for sale. Many want to know what steps to take to make the very most of the biggest investment of their life. So, what are some key things that home sellers need to do to get their homes ready for that big sale?
Well, I would say number one, you got to pick a selling strategy. Not everybody's going to put their home on the market and make it look like a really pretty house and everything's remodeled and all that. Not everybody does that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as it's priced appropriately for the strategy, is fine. Like I met with the seller last weekend and they're going to go as is, right? That means there's a different price for that, right? We're still going to market, but we're going to market to a different group of buyers, right? But if you are marketing towards a live in the home buyer, it really depends on the price range that you're in. Like if you're real high end, there's a certain expectation, especially like in the kitchen, probably tile counters is not so great. People don't like tile counters in the kitchen anyway, but if you have it, it's fine. But on the higher end price point, it could be perceived as a negative, whereas on the lower end price point, it might be a positive. So you have to have somebody that really understands what is that fine line of, do I need to put in granite counters or quartz counters or not, right? And I had one, I think I've told this story before, Richard, about it was an older fountain property. It was an inherited home. And the siblings were selling it. One of the siblings was living there. And I'll never forget the day I walked in the door, I was struck at the bright red, brazen hussy red shag carpet on the main level. It was something else. And they said, "Oh yeah, well, there's hardwood under that. That carpet's new. It was put in 1985." And I'm like,
Well,
okay.
hold on. I mean, I remember the 80s. It was kind of right on the borderline in the 80s in terms of being acceptable.
I think so too. But anyway, so originally I thought, well, maybe we pull that red shag carpet and just recoat the hardwood floors because everybody loves hardwood. But at the end of the day, it would have been more expensive to do that versus just pull that carpet and put fresh carpet down. And in that price range, it was appropriate to pick the least expensive choice. If you were in a higher price range, maybe hardwood floors would have been more desirable, right? But in that price range, it was just right. So the seller spent $2,500 putting in new carpet and they sold the house for 30,000 over asking price. So flooring is a big deal. You have to get that right, unless if you're going like as a fixer as is. Some other little things that you can do that are basically not too expensive. The big key rooms are curb appeal, the backyard, the view, the living room, the kitchen, the master bathroom, and the master bedroom. You don't have to worry about every nook and cranny of the house. You don't have to have your garage looking great. You don't have to have the inside of closets looking great. Although, if you overstuff them, and I have been in a house before with a buyer where the seller just so overstuffed the closets, it gave the impression that there wasn't enough storage, right? It didn't go over very well. So you really do want to kind of parse things down as you're getting ready to sell. And the key closet you need to really neutralize, or not neutralize, but make it not too overstuffed, would be the master closet. Everything off the floor, put your shoes up high instead of on the floor, and just pack away seasonal things that you're not going to wear, because that is one of the closets that buyers absolutely take a look at and they want to know, will my stuff fit in here, right? We don't take pictures of closets generally when they're occupied because they just don't photograph very well. But you want to make sure that's an area that you get to, but it could be last on that list. So curb appeal is critical, followed by the backyard, the view, followed by the living room, then the kitchen. So when you get to the kitchen, make sure that things aren't broken, that your appliances match if possible. I was just in a house a couple days ago where there was a kind of a mismatch of paint. Easy fix. You just need to paint to make it look consistent. Or, broken formica, that kind of thing really is a negative. So you just have to look at those things. And, a lot of people really don't know how to decide on a real estate agent. Most of them just kind of go with whoever they knew before, and they don't really interview them to find out what is their expertise, because selling the home is a different project as compared to working a buyer. Like as a buyer, it's more of, it's like shopping for a car. You just go in and go, okay, I love it, I take it. How do I get this financed? But when you're selling, it depends on your strategy, what your goals are. And I will tell you, Richard, a huge majority of the sellers that I meet with tell me they want the most money when they sell, which is totally understandable. But some are more realistic and they might say, hey, I'm open to a cash buyer because I don't want to have to deal with buyers coming through my house. I don't want to have to make my home neat and tidy, or I have kids or dogs or cats or whatever, that would disrupt my ability to show the home appropriately to really motivate a buyer to want to make an offer. So I get that, and we have solutions for them, which include our cash offer program. Another tip that's really important is to make sure it's clean. Simple thing you would think, but even just walking up to the front door, this time of year, we start to get leaves blown in on the front door, and the front doorbell is broken. I see that all the time. And the buyers may not overtly say anything, but it drops in the back of their mind. Okay, the doorbell's broken. What else is broken as they're walking into the house? So you want to make a good impression. Put some flowers outside, do something. And odors are a huge deal. I can't tell you how important odors are. Even though people that live in the home, they may not really notice it because they live in it all the time. But the best way you can tell is just go for a short walk outside, and then have your doors closed and walk back in and take a deep breath. You should be able to smell it if there is an odor. The worst odors that we run into are pet odor, pet urine. Some people don't even know that they're living with that because they got so used to it. Other odors could be um, maybe heavy cooking smells, like if you made something with a lot of garlic, or you've got a crock pot on that puts this really strong smell in the house. Uh, don't do that when you're showing your home. Try other choices when cooking dinner, because a lot of times the showings will actually take place during dinner hours, right? Because it's especially during the week, the buyers will want to go look at homes as they get off. Depersonalized. So a lot of people assume that that means take every picture of every family member off the wall. That's just not true. It means minimize the clutter, everything off the counters, everything off the tables. Um, don't have a whole I love me wall of family pictures when you're showing, right? It's okay to have one or two family photos, but a whole wall of your life story when a buyer comes through and on photographs, which is your first showing, they get distracted by that and they're not focused on the house itself. You want them to visualize themselves living in there. Also, light is really, really important. I always tell people to open up the blinds, let the outside in, turn on all the lights possible, because and lighten up the bedding. You don't want this heavy, dark print, especially in the master, because it just it's distracting. It looks dated. You want just fresh and light and neutral. Um, so my name is Barb Schlinker. I am the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'm also the host of the show Real Estate Voice. And what we're talking about are basically how to get your home ready for sale, some tips on how to do that. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some other things that will make a huge difference about whether or not you get top dollar for your home. And if you are thinking of selling, give us a call at 719-301-3900, or you could visit barbhasthebuyers.com. There's a free, no cost, no obligation consultation that we will give you if you're interested. Tips on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale, and a range of where your home will sell and how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells. If you're interested in that, please call us or go to barbhasthebuyers.com and we'd love to help you out. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. And you can listen to replays of the show anytime on all of the major podcast platforms, YouTube channel for Barb Schlinker as well. And if you're thinking of making that move, call Barb, 719-301-3900. Barb, we're talking about the top 15 tips to sell your home for top dollar. Give us the rest of those tips.
Well, I think one tip that's very important is you want to focus on those 6 key rooms. So outside, front, curb appeal, followed by the backyard, the view. So give the yard a haircut if it needs it. Make sure the backyard looks neat and tidy. And then the next room actually is the living room in the list of priorities. You want to make sure that the living room isn't over cluttered with furniture, that it feels spacious and people can visualize themselves living there. And I'm a believer that actually an occupied home with furniture or a home with furniture shows better than empty rooms. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to move out to show my house. And it shows better with furniture. Now, we have a workaround. We can digitally stage rooms. We don't have to have your furniture there if you do move out. But they do look better with life in the room, because there is a certain segment of the population that when they look at a picture, if it's an empty room, sometimes they can't even tell what room it is or what the room is for, and especially they can't tell whether or not their furniture will fit. That's partially why we work on staging. If there's any confusion going on, we want to make sure the home is presented properly to the market. Another part of marketing, believe it or not, is pricing. So what has changed over the years? Long gone are the days of the buyers going and looking at a bunch of homes, and if they like it, they make an offer and negotiate. You have to understand that your very first showing is online. People are making decisions based on how the home is presented online as to whether or not they're going to spend their gas money or their time going to look at the home. So I often get the question, well, won't they just make me an offer? Won't they negotiate? And the answer is they won't even come look at it if they think it's overpriced. So pricing is absolutely a huge part of the process of getting your home ready for sale. You need to attract them because people are looking online. They can see all the homes around you. These websites give a lot of data nowadays. It'll show what other homes have sold for around you. It'll show what your competition looks like. And if it doesn't look like a home that represents that it's being offered at a price that makes it look like it's a good buy for a buyer, they won't even come and see it. They just won't. So you really have to hire the right person that knows how to attract a buyer and help you get it priced right. And believe it or not, pricing high does not mean you're going to get the highest price. It's actually just the opposite. Pricing on the low end means that you're going to get the highest price. And we know how to do that. So, make sure that before you sign with a realtor that you really evaluate how they're approaching promoting the home, their marketing strategy, their pricing strategy, because we know that buyers eliminate most of the homes on the internet. They won't even ask to come in and see it if something is wrong with the marketing or the pricing, and we can help you do that. We've helped a lot of home sellers do it. And we want to make sure that you have a good experience when you sell. And of course, you can always ask us questions about it. We'll be happy to come out and give you a free in-home consultation on what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice and the host of the program. If you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the most amount of money, it's your biggest investment, call Barb, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be talking about contract provisions that home sellers should watch out for. We'll talk with Barb about that.